Today, I want to share with you one of the most fascinating pricing transformations that I have encountered in the SaaS world. The story of Coralogix and how they leverage pricing strategy not just as a fundamental product innovation. This isn't just another SaaS pricing story. This is about how one company recognized a broken market dynamic and rebuilt their entire product architecture. It's about turning what most companies see as necessary evil, that is pricing, into their greatest competitive advantage. Let me take you back to where it all started. In 2014, Ariel Assaraf and his team founded Coralogix with a vision to revolutionize log analytics and observability. But by 2017, they hit a wall. Their initial approach, creating intelligence on top of existing observability products, was not working. The integration challenges were immense, and delivering cost-effective value to customers seemed impossible. Ariel identified a fundamental paradox in the observability market that no one was talking about. As he explained to me, data is growing exponentially. It's simple. Data grows faster than revenue. Doesn't matter how much your company will grow, data will outpace that. Think about that for a moment. In most SaaS categories, growth is good. More usage means more value. But in observability, Ariel discovered something counterintuitive. For observability and security, the more data you have, the less you know. The more you pay, the more inferior your performance gets. This is the observability paradox. Companies were literally paying more to get worse results. Traditional vendors had built their entire business models on storing, indexing massive amounts of data, creating what Ariel calls fake NRR, fake net revenue retention, that grows not because your customers are getting more value, but because data was ballooning out of control. At the end of 2017, Coralogix made a crucial decision. They essentially restarted the company in early 2018 with 5 people, no customers and no revenue. This wasn't just a product pivot. It was a fundamental rethinking of how observability should work. Instead of trying to add intelligence to existing systems, they decided to rebuild from scratch with a radical idea. What if they could analyze data without storing it? Here's where Ariel's insight becomes brilliant. He recognized something most founders miss: the power of pricing page on our website. It's one of the most powerful messaging pages. In the observability market, technical differentiation was nearly impossible. As Ariel explained, everyone had similar features, logs, metrics, traces. The real battleground wasn't features, it was economics. And the pricing page is where that battle was won or lost. So Coralogix did something radical. They didn't just create a new pricing model, they rebuilt their entire product to enable a fundamentally different pricing approach. The traditional observability model was simple but expensive. Ingest all data, index everything, store it forever, charge by the gigabyte. It's like paying for a massive warehouse to store everything you own, even things you'll never need again. Coralogix flips this on its head with a simple yet powerful concept: analyze before index. As Ariel explained, we used to rely on index for storage, but today we analyze about 70% of the data that goes through Coralogix without storing it anywhere. Let me break that down with what that means. Traditional observability is like hiring a team of librarians who meticulously catalog and store every piece of paper that comes to their door. But his company, Coralogix, is like having a smart assistant who reads everything, understands what's important, and acts on it immediately, and only keeps and stores what they really need. This achieved several technical innovations for them. First, they embedded databases directly into data streams. This allowed real-time processing without the overhead of storage. Second, they implemented something they called hyperlog, a probabilistic data structure that could count unique items efficiently without storing everything. Third, they created state stream processing that could handle both known unknowns and known knowns without storing raw data. The result, they could offer customers the same insight and capabilities while reducing storage costs by 70%. With this technical foundation in place, Coralogix introduced a pricing model that reflected how customers actually use observability data. Instead of charging same price for all data, they created 3 tiers. Frequent search at $1.15 per gigabyte for data customers would need to query regularly. Monitoring at 50 cents per gigabyte for data you'd need to analyze in real time. but don't need to search frequently. And then compliance at 17 cents per gigabyte for data you must keep for regulatory reasons, but rarely access. This wasn't just clever pricing, it was a reflection of a deeper truth about observability data. Not all data is created equal. Some you need to keep at your fingertips. Some you need to monitor in real time, and some you just need to keep around for compliance. The beauty of this model is its flexibility. Customers can dynamically adjust how they categorize their data, optimizing costs without sacrificing coverage. It's like having a closet that automatically organizes itself based on how often you wear the clothes. What makes the story remarkable is how tightly Coralogix align their technology development with their pricing strategy. As Ariel told me, we thought let's handle massive loads of data and offer a new pricing model that others didn't in the past. This wasn't an afterthought, it was the core premise. Every technical decision was made with the pricing model in mind. When you build your product around your pricing strategy rather than trying to bolt pricing onto an existing product, magic happens. Ariel shared something fascinating. He said that the main stakeholders were their go-to-market team, the CTO himself, and they spent an average of 10 hours a day constantly refining the product and pricing based on market responses. This tight integration between product, pricing, and go-to-market wasn't just efficient, it was essential. They could test pricing hypotheses in the morning and have product changes deployed in the afternoon. They could hear customer feedback about cost and immediately brainstorm technical solutions. This rapid iteration cycle allowed them something remarkable. Decrease their price per gigabyte by 70% while almost doubling their margin. Think about that. They charged less and made more money. That's the power of aligning technology with pricing strategy. Coralogix took their cost optimization even further with another innovation. They even allowed the customer to use their own cloud storage. Ariel explained to me, when you use the customer storage, you stop becoming a cloud reseller. You don't need the markup and everybody enjoys the cost savings. This was brilliant for several reasons. First, it eliminated traditional SaaS markup on storage cost. Second, it gave customers more control over their data. Third, it aligned Coralogix interests with their customers. They both wanted to minimize storage costs. This approach turned traditional vendor-customer dynamics on its head. Instead of making money from customer data growth, Coralogix made money by helping customers manage data more efficiently. One of the most impressive aspects of this strategy was their adaptability. As he noted, we track down how customers move data between different use cases and adjust pricing accordingly. It's not static pricing. This is a living, breathing system that adapts to market conditions and customer behavior. If customers start moving more data to compliance tiers, Coralogix can adjust. If new use cases emerge, they can create new pricing tiers. This flexibility ensures that they stay competitive regardless of market changing. It's like an agile, it's a real evolving pricing strategy. The impact of pricing-led product strategy has been remarkable. Not only did they reduce their price per gigabyte that they delivered, they went from 0 customers in 2018 to becoming a major player in the observability space, recently achieving unicorn status with over $1 billion in valuation. But more importantly, they solved the observability paradox. Customers no longer have to choose between comprehensive monitoring and manageable costs. They can have both. So what can we learn from their story? First, pricing is product strategy. Don't think of pricing as something you add after building your product. Think of it as a core constraint that shapes what you build, especially in red ocean environments. Secondly, identify key insights and market paradoxes. Ariel found success by recognizing that the traditional market in his industry was broken and pricing had a role to play. Third, align technology with pricing. Every technical decision was made with pricing in mind. Now, this may not be true for all industries, but for some industries, this can be a game changer. Fourth, use pricing page as a weapon, especially if your customers are pricing sensitive and in markets where there is technical parity, pricing differentiation can be a strong competitive advantage. Fifth, iterate rapidly with cross-functional teams. This tight integration between the go-to-market, product, and leadership teams enable rapid innovation, and this is something you don't see, especially to involve pricing as part of rapid innovation. And finally, think about traditional SaaS metrics. Coralogix flipped NRR on its head. NRR is kept like a god in SaaS. But they said that no, all NRR is not good NRR. There is something called toxic NRR, and we don't want toxic NRR. This story highlights that pricing innovation isn't about finding the right number. It's about fundamentally aligning what you offer to what customers need and about the right insights about the market and building products that align with the customers. As this data continues to grow exponentially across industries, the lessons from Coralogix become more relevant. How can you help your customers do more with less? How can you align your pricing model with actual value delivery? How can you turn cost challenges into competitive advantages? Thank you for joining me on this journey through one of the most innovative pricing transformations in SaaS. This is just one of the many fascinating case studies in our book, Price to Scale, where we explore how the best SaaS companies use pricing as a strategic weapon for growth. Remember, in SaaS, your pricing model isn't just how you charge, it's how you change the game.